So welcome to our first financial planner roundtable. This week, we obviously have a lot of questions that have been coming into all of us regarding the difficult financial situation that's out there with the global pandemic. So I thought that we would just go around and talk about maybe some questions, common questions that all of us are getting and what we're telling our clients or prospects.
Hi, I'm Maddi Napier with Minerva Wealth Planning in Columbus, Ohio.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Martinez, Xennial Planning, and I'm in San Diego.
Hi, I'm Erin Vickery with Sandcastle Financial in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Gatzemeier, Kinetix Financial Planning, Flower Mound, Texas.
Hi, I'm Alicia Reiss. I'm with the Business of Your Life, which is a fee-only virtual financial planning firm here in Northern Virginia.
So I'm getting a lot, not just from clients, but prospects, because the stock market has been up and down and all over the place, and mostly down though. And so a lot of people are asking, hey, what can I do when the stock market is down? I mean, I hear it's a good time to buy. What should I be buying? What should I be doing right now? So do you guys have any thoughts on that?
So I'll jump in real quickly. So I would just say, the first thing that I think about is making sure the person is well positioned. So it is a good time to get into the market when the market is at a discount, but making sure the person that's going to be doing that has the excess dollars. They already have an emergency savings account. They don't have any high interest debt. And then, if it's somebody that's new to investing, maybe have them start by putting a little bit in at a time. So starting with something like $50 a month or something, just to get used to it and to kind of avoid some of the short-term volatility. But that's kind of how I think about it, is if there is excess, then I think it's a great time to get in, but it has to make sense for that person.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, is it a good time? No one knows if it's a good time. It's obviously a better time than it was in January when we were at highs, or February. But I think one thing you can do, if it's obviously, like I said, better time, but you can maybe increase, if you're already contributing to, let's say, a 401k or work sponsored plan automatically, maybe you start increasing the percentage you're allocating to that. And that kind of helps you add a little more per paycheck to your investments while taking advantage of, a down market, so to speak.
Great. And another point is that if you are someone who has already been contributing to a retirement plan and investing, and assuming that your goals are still the same and that you are comfortable with how you had already allocated your money and your asset allocation based on your own risk tolerance, you might have already thought about these things, right? A steep decline. And if you are still comfortable, again, with all of the things that you had already put in place, then you should continue as you've been doing. And then just as Travis and Maddi had already mentioned, if this is something that you're just starting, again, Maddi talked about making sure that you had some other things in place. If you're just thinking about the first time getting into the market and is this a good time, again, just thinking through maybe sitting with a financial planner and making sure that you have your emergency fund, go over your debt expenses, things like that. But
awesome. Thanks, guys.
Perfect.
So guys, a question that I've gotten from some clients I have is around the student loans. I think not everyone, but some people have heard about kind of being able to defer your student loan payment for 6 months. So what do you tell clients that ask that question, or how do you guys think about that?
Yeah, so I had that recently with a client, and she is part of the loan forgiveness program. And the good thing about this is that not only can you defer your interest for 6 months, but it doesn't affect your student loan forgiveness either. And so this particular client is in some significant debt. And so we are deferring that money right now. and her savings account is not up to par. So I gave her the choice. I said, would you prefer, because I've been working with her for a little while now with her cash flow. I said, would you prefer to put that towards a credit card, your higher interest credit card, or put it into your savings account? And since the savings is very dismal, she said, I'd rather put it into savings right now, particularly because the economy is not looking very good right now. And if I were to lose my job in some way, I need some kind of backup savings. So I completely support her in that.
And that's a good point. Going on what you said there is you let the client decide where they wanted to put the money, right? So you gave them the option and what felt best to them that they were more comfortable doing. So that's always important as well whenever you're trying to decide where you should allocate extra cash flow in the situation from student loans.
Absolutely. So what I would say is obviously everyone's situation is different right now. And certainly if you're in a position where you need to conserve cash, maybe you're out of work or you have a decreased paycheck or something like that, then I definitely think that it is worth looking into whatever programs are currently available, like the student loan deferment one. But on the flip side, if you have been lucky enough to continue working full-time from home and you have not seen any changes in your income and maybe your expenses, things like that, and you're perfectly able and fine to continue paying whatever outstanding loans you might have, I think it's fine to do that. So, but again, obviously a lot of people have been affected by what's going on in some way or another, and it's definitely something worth looking into if they need to take something out of their budget right now. So
yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity right now to participate in the program, and if you are in a good financial situation, continue to make those payments and make more if you possibly can, if you're in a good spot, because now is the time to really, you can really, with 0% interest, you can get those loans knocked down significantly.
Right.
A lot of people are going to be getting stimulus checks.
Oh, yeah.
And a big question is, how should you go about spending your check? What should you use it for? And, I think people should use it for what it's intended to be used for, obviously, and I have some other thoughts around it, but what are some things that y'all would recommend or tell people that what they should look at using their stimulus check for if they do get one?
At the end of the day, what's going to be best will vary from individual to individual. So I would probably start by looking first at whether the individual can meet their monthly spending needs, non-discretionary items first, and then discretionary items as they would normally have been. Next highest priority, I would probably say take a look at that emergency fund, make sure that we have adequate savings in place. Obviously, this is hitting a lot of us hard right now if we didn't have that emergency fund in place, as the majority of Americans didn't. So that, and then we could look at paying down additional debt, or you may have family or friends that you would feel moved to help out with that money, but it's going to vary so much from person to person that I would start with the whole putting your life mask on first approach.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to get on a soapbox a little bit with the stimulus checks. So I'm just going to take this in a different angle. I personally believe that the stimulus check situation should have been sent to everybody, and here's why. So hear me out. People with lower incomes aren't the only ones that are struggling right now and could have lost their jobs in living paycheck to paycheck. And so with those stimulus checks, I feel if you have lost your job and you are in a bad situation, obviously that money could be used and should be used to try to help pay your bills. But at the same time, I like what Erin was saying, that if you got a check and you don't need it per se, and you know someone that could potentially use the help, I mean, maybe it's a time to be charitable with that money and kind of share the love.
Yeah, I agree with I think they should have probably given, let's say, everyone a check. And then based on 2020, when those taxes are filed, then they true up everything at that point, instead of the way they did it. But that's not our decision to make. But yeah, I think you're right, and use it for what it's intended to be used for. And then, you know, a lot of people are going through a hardship. So if you're getting that money, you should probably if you need that money and you're actually going through one of these hardships, like, use it for what it's for, which is getting you by right now, to kind of not allow you to dig into savings or retirement accounts or things like that. Like, use it to keep yourself afloat until things get better.
Right. But yeah, I agree with what's already been said. I think that, you know, essential bills only right now, if you're out of work and you don't have an emergency fund, or even if you do and you're kind of working your way through it and depleting it, that's where you would start. Try to use whatever programs are available, like we were talking about before. If you can put off the student loan payments, if again you're in a position where you don't have income coming in, and also if you can put some of it away into your emergency fund, but kind of conserving cash right now. Again, if you're in a position where you have lost your job or you have decreased hours, things like that. So I think all of those things can work.
If you're going to get stimulus money, it's just going to advance the financial plan that you already had in place, whether that means paying your bills because you don't have enough money to meet it because your employment situation has changed, or beefing up your emergency fund because you've been waiting on a little extra cash to be able to do that, or to be able to add more to your investing or paying down debt. Those are things that were probably already on the horizon, whether it was short, intermediate, or long-term for you. This is just an added opportunity, something new to fold into the mix. Now, if you don't have a financial plan, or you think you don't, not having a plan is a plan too. So maybe now is the time to consider making something a little more formal.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just to add on to the, if someone doesn't need the money and they want to give it away, like to someone who needs it more, something to think about is, and this is also a big question, if you get the money but your 2020 taxes shows that you didn't necessarily deserve the money, there's no clawback on it. So the IRS isn't going to come back and try to recapture any of that money they've already sent. So if you get a rebate check, there's no clawback. So that's important to note as well.
Yeah, good point.
And especially if you make a donation to a charity as well and can keep a record of that, that might help you at tax time as well, for those of you itemizing.